Welcome to the show, everybody. Exciting episode here. We are talking about 3 rookie wide receivers you must draft for fantasy football 2025. Big episode here. I got a lot of information and a caveat, a reason you got to be cautious with drafting any rookie wide receivers. And stay to the end. I'm saving the best one for last, the one I like out of these 3 the most, till the end. So make sure you guys stay till the end for that. I'm telling you, it's going to be an exciting year. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bell. Go back after you've done this video, check out the 3 rookie running backs I love. Guys, it is so exciting. As I'm laying out the 16-round draft solution, I am so pumped. There's so much value with these rookies this year, but you got to make sure you get the right ones, and you got to make sure your roster is optimally designed. Okay, so yes, you can take some chances on some rookies, but you got to make sure you have some secure plays, especially in those earlier rounds. And I lay all this out with my secret recipe in the 16-round draft solution. All the optimal players drafted each round, sleepers, breakouts, everything you need. Use code DRAFT to save. I've linked it below. That draft code, you save 20%, and it's expiring very soon. I think it's probably already done. Might have a couple more days on it. Grab 16 rounds, use code DRAFT, and I'm ready to dive into this. But make sure you guys turn on that bell as well and drop a comment below. I want to make this interactive. Going to be doing best ball, mock drafts, regular mock drafts. I'm going to have NFL athletes on this show. Got so much going on this #1 fantasy football podcast. You got to hit subscribe, okay? Let's dive into some rookie talk right here, right now, okay? Make sure you got 16 rounds. Do not forget, you can pre-order it right now, okay? All right, first one, and again, I'm saving the kind of the best for last. Not necessarily that the guy I'm saving for last is going to do better than these guys, but I kind of like the situation the most. Again, with the running backs, it's kind of clear-cut. Genty's going to be the workhorse guy. The caveat with these wide receivers is that it's not guaranteed they're going to be the one, right? There's a lot of stuff they got to go through while the talent is good and the high draft. So you got the high draft capital, the team's invested high in them, but we don't really know if they're going to be the volume getters. Whereas Genty, we know he was drafted early round 1. He's going to get the volume. There's nobody else in that committee. With these wide receivers, as you're going to see, I got some question marks. So the first one is Matthew Golden. He was a round 1 pick by the Packers. Goes into a situation where it doesn't look amazing. Now, the only thing, let's talk about it. 5'11", 191 pounds out of Texas, 4.29 speed. He's a burner. Natural hands, good route running, great route running, great separation. Now, the problem is the situation that he lands in. So obviously, he's a high caliber player. The talent is there. The natural hands, reliable, decent route running. He could probably blow the top off some of these defenses, but he goes into a situation, all situational, right? Last year, Reed had 75 target, Romeo Dobbs 72, Wicks had 76. So there's a lot of distribution, right? And they have 2 decent tight ends. So when you look at what Love is going to do, is he going to gravitate to Golden? I'm probably thinking not. So make sure if you do grab Golden, draft him with the expectation that he may be in a major wide receiver committee with the hope, based on his high draft capital, because the other guys weren't drafted in like first round, okay? I don't believe, I think Dobbs was like a 4th round. Reed was, I think, 2nd or 3rd. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he's got that going for him. The only thing is that is Love going to target him and hone in on him as a true wide receiver 1? Yet to be seen. It's a 50-50, right? Because he's got his other receivers he's already got rapport with. So when you're looking at it on paper, 5'11", 191, 4.29 speed, 1st round draft capital, exciting stuff. Could they have found their true wide receiver 1? That's why he's on my list on 3 must draft rookies because at wide receiver, because he's got that opportunity. But again, unlike the running backs, it's not a plug and play Ashton Genty type situation. That's what you got to be aware. So as I'm laying out 16 rounds, I'm really trying to be cognizant of possibly drafting an ace wide receiver in those early rounds just to cover myself, to hedge my bets if I'm rolling the dice on wide receivers. Last year, I saw it clear cut. I knew that Brian Thomas Jr. was going to be the one. I saw Ladd McConkey being the one there as well. And we're going to talk about that in a second with Ladd McConkey. But with this year, it doesn't seem like as clear cut. Even if a guy like, he's not on this list here, but McMillan, right? Do we trust Bryce Young? He's there with Fields, who's washed up, but they got Leggett as well. But do we trust the Panthers that McMillan is going to be the clear cut one? Possible, right? He's an honorable mention. There you go. He's an honorable mention for this video. But Matthew Golden on paper looks good. Let's move on to number 2. And again, I'm saving the third one that I think is in the best situation to be the one on his team. The next guy is Trey Harris. Now, this is very interesting because we talked about the Chargers not really having a true one. McConkey comes in. Is he a true one? I'm really not sold on McConkey being the true one. They draft Trey Harris with massive early round draft capital. So they believe in him. Now, he had 60 targets last year, whatever, 1,000 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. Really, really the best receiver with contested ball catch. He's the guy that's going to get the 50 balls, contested catches, absolute physical red zone monster. Natural hands, great footwork. But the thing is, his top end speed, he's not going to be able to blow the top off defenses. He's making it out with some decent route running, so he's not going to be able to blow past corners with the 4.54 speed. That's a concern. So where he's going to thrive possibly is going to, for Trey Harris and the Chargers, is maybe being that big red zone target that Herbert is looking for. So a lot of touchdowns, but is he going to be a PPR monster? I think McConkey's still going to be kind of the 1A. This guy might be the 1B. We know Quentin Johnson hasn't done much, but now Herbert's got a nice target. A guy that's going to be strong and physical in the red zone. He's going to be a monster in the red zone, and he's going to make some clutch plays. So he's a very clutch receiver, right? But at the 6'2", 205 pounds, bigger guy height-wise. So is he going to be the true one? Again, you're drafting him with the possibility that he could. You got to make sure you draft him at the right ADP, which I lay out in 16 rounds. He's going to be a later round pick. People are obviously going to go McConkey round 2 and get Harris later, but there is a chance that Harris could overtake that wide receiver 1 spot simply because I'm not really convinced that McConkey is a true one. When I look at a true one, I think of Jefferson, I think of Jamar Chase, I think of Brian Thomas Jr. Now, he's got some competition with Hunter as well. JSN takes a step up this year. I like him as a true one. Now Metcalf is gone. He's kind of solidified his spot. Those are true ones. When I look at McConkey, I'm just like, he's good. Could be a PPR machine, right? But there's a chance for Trey Harris to overtake him. Does this make sense, guys? I think logically, I think practically. I don't just say draft on ADP. Last year, Christian Kirk, everybody had him ranked. They had a Brian Thomas Jr. I'm like, dude, don't draft Christian Kirk, right? And I'm not saying that here. I'm not saying that Harris is going to be the one over. I'm not, over Trey. I'm not saying Harris is going to be the one over McConkey. I'm not saying that. This is not a Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas situation because the gap between Brian Thomas and Christian was just so much bigger. We don't know the gap here, but I'm telling you, McConkey's kind of got his role. And then Harris could overtake. We don't know. And Quentin Johnson's kind of Quentin Johnson. I'm not really expecting much out of him. Years to wow us, and we're not really wow. Mr. Body Catch, drop balls, inconsistent. Didn't really get anywhere near his return on investment early on, and that's what you need. When a wide receiver is great, they come out of the gate great. There's receivers that kind of blossomed over a year or two, but unlikely. They take that role earlier on, and they show what they're made of. None of this 2, 3, 4 years waiting. Oh, they've written. It doesn't work like that. I've never, rare. Okay. Now, the last one here, again, hit the thumbs up, turn on the bell if this is making sense. The only person here giving you the truth to fantasy sports while everybody's sugarcoating stuff, doing copy and paste. Listen, when everyone's running this way, I go that way. Everyone said CMC last year. I'm saying, no, I'm going this way. I'm not drafting CMC. I don't do it to be different. I do it because I know that I can see regression. I look at the depth chart. I look at the talent. I look at the age. I look at the youth. I look at everything. I look at the entire scope. I don't look at this guy finished on top last year. I'm going to draft him on top this year, which is what they did with Laporta. Laporta, we were getting 2 years ago in 16 rounds in the 10th round. And then he was being drafted in the 2nd round last year. I'm like, dude, I like that 10th round value. Whereas again, McConkey, we were getting him in the 7th, 8th round last year. Now he's a 2nd rounder. I'm looking for the next best thing, and I'm not paying a 2nd round. I should be loading up on my workhorse running backs those early rounds, okay? All right, let's go. Last one here. Out of these 3, on paper, could be the best scenario at wide receiver, and we're talking Jack Bech, B-E-C-H, Bech, Beck, whatever, round 2 pick by the Vegas Raiders. Now, they've got Genty, who's obviously going to draw a ton of attention up front. Right, they got Brock Bowers, who could, in theory, be the wide receiver 1, even though he is a tight end. Jack Bech was a tight end as well he's got that tight end build, right? He was a tight end, converted to a wide receiver, and he's a big guy. Now, again, not as fast. He's going to be a little bit slower. 6'1", 214. He's a big dude, right? Big body. He had 1,000 yards in college last year, 9 touchdowns. He's very physical. He's strong. He's able to break tackles, great body control, and relatively quick off the line. He's going to get, he might even line up in the slot, but he can line up outside as well. Jack Bech is in a situation where they don't have anybody else. They got Myers there. They got Bowers. They got Genty. But Geno Smith, if he gravitates to Bech, this could be arguably the best receiver you get out of this draft for fantasy as a rookie. And again, there's other guys. There's McMillan. There's Golden. There's other guys I just talked about, right? But when you look at it as a plug and play, nobody else there, you got an opportunity with Bech here. Okay, and there's other ones. These are just 3 that really jumped out at me simply because of the situation or just the high draft capital. Okay, again, McMillan is also really, really good. And then you got Ibuka, whatever, on the Buccaneers, but he's got to contend with Godwin. He's got to contend with Evans, right? Like, it's just like these guys are good, high draft capital, but they're in like these wide receiver committees, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Whereas Bech is in a situation where he doesn't really have a committee. Does that make sense? But he's not going to be as fast. So just be aware of that, right? Like, you got to just be aware of like what's happening, volume distribution, talent, draft capital, depth chart, everything, right? So that's what I do for you. Grab 16 rounds of linked deploy. You're going to have all the answers in one spot. It's going to save you a lot of time, and you're going to win your championship. So anyways, that's it here for today. 3 rookie wide receivers I love, but it comes with a caveat. The quarterback has to gravitate to them. There's still some committee action going, whereas Green Bay, like, they spread the ball around. Similarly with the Chiefs, right? Like, Worthy, Rice, Kelsey, like, what's going on, man? Like, who's the one? Nobody knows. And I think that the league is going to this, like, BS of, like, they don't want you to know who wide receiver 1 is, right? There's so much betting sites. There's, like, props and stuff like that where there's, like, they don't want you to know based on the over-unders. It's crazy. It's almost like they're purposely trying to screw you, right? Whereas before, Adrian Peterson's my workhorse. I'm getting that volume, right? Julio Jones is my wide receiver 1. I'm getting that volume. Now the running back committee is crazy. Now they're doing wide receiver by committee. At some leagues, some teams are going quarterback by committee. Like, it's just absolutely stupid. So all we're doing is trying to mitigate the risk of getting caught up in these committees. So that's what we do in 60 Rounds and on this channel. So subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Have yourself an outstanding day. And I'm going to keep the content rolling for you. Fantasy Football 2025 is going to be massive. Stay glued. Turn on bell. Live's coming. A lot of big content is going to be going full force starting in June. But I'm ramping up right now. We'll talk soon, guys. Have a great day. I'm out.